Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with another battle report. So I attended this last weekend a tournament down in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's called Southern Assault. It's about a 36 person turnout. I think it's a real shame. I think they had like 50 to 52 and a bunch of people canceled right at the last minute. So anyway, 36 person tournament run by some friends of mine. Very excited to go to it, see some players that I haven't seen in a while. They're using the Swedish comp system, and for those of you who follow my reports, you know the last tournament I went to, I was playtesting a Beastman army, and I decided to surprise anyone at the tournament who does follow my reports and not bring the same army because sometimes that works against me. So what I did is I just grabbed the same army list that I used for Buckeye battles back in 2011. I scored it according to the comp system. It was a very soft score, about 24, which was fairly soft. So I thought I'd just bring that army, and it ended up being that they grouped all of the players into groups of four based on their comp score, and I was in the softest group. So they said the first two games of the tournament, you're only fighting those in your group. So I know that the first two games I should be fighting people with relatively soft lists, so I can't complain about that one bit. So the problem though is my first game's against Empire, and uh, two cannons and a Hellblaster and some handgunners and great swords. I mean, whatever. It's a brutal list for Bretonnia, but then again, I think a lot of armies have brutal lists for Bretonnia. So I call this bringing a lance to a gunfight. Let's start on the right. He's got a great cannon. Next to that, he's got a unit of swordsmen with a wizard and a BSB with them, and a detachment of handgunners. He's got some great swords, a great cannon, a master engineer with a Hellblaster volley gun. There's a swamp right in front of him, so that's getting some nice protection against my knights. Next to that, he's got his big, and it's not really a Death Star, but you know, his point sink anyway. He's got his general on a horse, no less, which is really risky because he doesn't get a lookout sir from template weapons. And I do have a trebuchet, so that's a very tempting target. Though he does have a ward save, and that's the one thing I'm afraid of is to risk everything else, put a stone on his head, and then just have him ward save it. Anyway, he also has a level 4 wizard as well as a warrior priest with a whole bunch of halberdiers, detachment of Free Company militia, and then 6 Reichsguard knights. He also he has some pistoliers on the left, and if you look at the far left, he has his huntsmen. I think they're called scouts. So I'm looking at this list, and I mean, obviously he didn't deploy and then I deployed. We were going back and forth, but really what I was kind of thinking was I want to match up men-at-arms against his great swords to whittle them down. If he eventually wins, I don't care if I can get him tied up for a while, whittle him down, and then maybe fight him with knights and be able to take him out that way. Um, Otherwise, I'm really just not sure how to match up with things. I need to take care of his war machines pretty quickly. I'd like to get men-at-arms and a knight unit to get some front and flank combinations, but I'm not sure yet how I'm going to be able to do it. So anyway, I put my fast calf here on the left. I've got a 40 men-at-arms with the damsel, and yes, she does have transformation, and they also have the ward save, which is very nice. Then I've got a unit of Knights of the Realm. I've got one unit of 10, one unit of 11. I think this first one's a unit of 10. Has my Prophetess and my Battle Standard Bearer. There's another unit of 40 men-at-arms, another unit of Knights of the Realm. This one has the my general, who's a blue and white model, and then I have the Green Knight, which is just a paladin. Now, the general is supposed to be with the Knights Errant, which is on the far right here, but they're more like a character delivery system for him. But in this scenario, I didn't need him to be delivered anywhere, and I needed the Knights Errant to make sure I got to that cannon and then try to get behind his lines and threaten his flank. And I didn't want to waste the General or the Green Knight way over there in that capacity. So threw both characters in with this unit. Got some Peg Knights, some Bowmen, Trebuchet, and my Knights Errant. So of course Empire goes first. He moves up. I'm feeling kind of dumb at the moment because those fast cav is obviously within easy shooting distance and no knight nearby to give some leadership. So kind of feeling dumb so far. Otherwise, he just kind of bends his battle line around. If I were him, I would like my position. He starts shooting. He kills 3 Knights of the Realm. And over here, he killed 4 of my my fast cav. Obviously, yeah, they failed their panic test and then ran right in front of my lines. So in a game when I really need to jump on my opponent, yeah. So we go to Bretonnia turn 1. The Peg Knights charge his cannon on the right. Otherwise, everything is as you can see it. And the big news here is, of course, you rally fleeing troops before you do your regular movement. They did not rally because he needs snake eyes, and he continued to run and landed right in front of the most important unit on the board. Are you kidding me? Really? I mean, these things happen every game to everybody. I know, I'm not saying anything else, but it was so funny. Yeah. Anyway, Peg Knights took 1 wound from handgunners last turn, but I'm pretty confident in their ability to kill this cannon. I really need them to, though, because if they don't, they're going to get flank charged with those swordsmen. But they do. They kill it. They run. They don't quite get off the board. They're offering their flank to a cannon shot, so we're hoping that doesn't work. They look spread out. They're not really. They'll line up with the musician on the left, but they just, with the hill, wouldn't let them do that. The other thing that happened is in my magic phase, I turned the damsel into not a mountain chimera, a low level one. I think she was I think she was the dragon. But the problem here is it doesn't work as well with Bretonnia as it does Beastman because the footprint doesn't match. So she has to push outside the unit, which really causes a host of problems. Times when she can and can't be used. But I thought I'd go ahead and do it just so that it would force him to use his power dice to dispel it, and he may even fail that, and there's just always a lot of good options. She got irresistible force, so she took a wound. Anyway, if nothing else, I think it kept that unit from being charged on his turn. He probably wasn't going to charge him anyway. Good Empire turn 2, you can see what he did. He put a cannonball through my Peg Knights. He actually only killed 1, but they failed their panic and ran off the board. The Hellblaster opened up and just destroyed a unit of Knights of the Realm. So now I've only got 2 Knights left. I've got 2 characters, and of course, if he shoots at him now, I have no Lookout Sir roll protection. So I can't do that. So I really just have to take the characters out of this unit and put them in my other Knight unit just so they don't get shot to death. So that's tough. I mean, the problem, what I'm looking at here is, I've got 2 big blocks of men-at-arms, but what good is that going to do me? I mean, those men-at-arms aren't going to win combat against anything on the board, unless I get some Mountain Chimera help. But I can't really always plan on getting that. You can see, by the way, that he dispelled that spell, so my level 2 spellcaster's back with 1 wound on her. And we go to Bretonnia in turn 2. So the big important thing that happened is I took the 2 characters out of the Knight of the Realm unit, put them in my big Knight unit, and now that unit is huge because it has 4 characters. But it's the only I don't know what else to do. I have to protect them from shooting. The other Knights back up as much as they could, and so that they just didn't get charged. And it is as you can see it. Over here, I move the Knights Errant up so they can threaten charges without being charged any turn. I reformed the Bowman so that they can shoot at his Pistoliers. And now I've got a Death Star Knight unit. I've got, on the front left, my General, then I've got the Green Knight Paladin, and I've got my Paladin BSB. So very vulnerable to shooting still, but in combat, this could be a nice unit. So during the shooting phase, I'm really hoping I can land a rock on his General's head or in the Halberdiers to weaken that unit or something like that. My Trebuchet blows itself up, it panics the Bowmen, they run away from the nearest enemy unit, which is, of course, right off the board. So none too happy about that. We go to Empire turn 3. I knew that he was going to start charging the units on the left, so when his Reiksguard Knight charged my men-at-arms, I fled and bounced through everything. And then when he redirected into my 2 remaining Knights, I fled with them. So I was actually kind of okay with this. Those 2 Knights need Snake Eyes to rally. They're probably not going to. They'll probably run off the board before the game's over. The men-at-arms have a decent chance of rallying, and if they do, they're just on my right flank, and I can deal with that. So another angle on the same thing. Now another good thing that kind of happened there is you see how it kind of opened things up for my big bus of Knights. So I don't know what I want to do with that bus. I'm tempted to charge that free company, hope I beat him, and then overrun past him. But even then, my lance is so long, I don't know if I can get out of his charge arc. So he shoots my Knights Errant, kills more of them. He shoots my Knights of the Realm, kills a couple more of them. He shoots at my men-at-arms, kills 9 of them, I think. And we go to Bretonnia turn 3. So the great news is that the damsel with the men-at-arms rallied. So I was very, very happy about that. The the men-at-arms charged his handgunners and he fled. They redirected to his great swords, and had they made it, they would have been in the great sword's flank, which was just absolutely perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. And if the handgunners would have stayed, they would have probably beaten the handgunners and would have overrun into the great sword's flank. So either way, he was looking at something bad, and they failed their charge. Oh, I was so bummed. I thought I had a bit of good luck happening over there, but it wasn't to be. And now the men-at-arms are set up for a countercharge by his halberdiers. My knight of the realm unit charges Reiksguard knights. Here's just some other angles. There's that. I thought I'd moved on to the Reiksguard knight, but I guess not. There we go. So I know I'm going to win this combat, but he's stubborn and there's good leadership nearby. If I can break him, I'm still not sure I can get out of his charge arc. So I'm really just kind of in a world of trouble right here. The best thing I have going for me is I have a general with heroic killing blow to get past that darn 1-up armor save. My Green Knight model has a great weapon. He's strength 6. That helps, but he's, still saving on a 4-up. So what I do, and this is a picture after the fact, but basically during the magic phase I get the Savage Beast to Horus spell off. My magic phase was off. I didn't roll many dice. That's really the only spell I could get off, but hey, I got it and put it on my general. My general proceeds to go to town. I guess I should say he issues a challenge. I accept it with the Reiksguard Knight issues a challenge. I accept it with my Green Knight model. He's strength 6. He has a chance, if he can just, he has a chance of killing the champion, and he doesn't do it. But my general kills all the rest of them. It was awesome. He starts off with 4 attacks. So he's at 7 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 1s with no armor save because he's at strength 7 by this point. And wait, that's not true. Strength 7 takes his save from what? From a 1 to a 5. So, yeah. So he had an armor save, but he didn't make enough of them. So my general killed at least 4, maybe 5 of them. And it doesn't matter because the last one died to the knights and all that. So when the combat was over, I reformed, turning my flank to him, and so I can face the halberdier charge. Halberdiers, if they decide to come in, the Green Knight model's in a challenge, so he can't attack him. I had to put my BSB in the second rank because I had the BSB and the Green Knight were in the combat still. I couldn't pull them out of combat. So that's why the BSB's in the second rank. I could have swapped the order, but it would have seemed stupid to do so. And I put my general on my rightmost flank so that if he charges in and his general's in combat, I can just take swings at him. And I'm at 7 attacks, strength 7. I mean, he is nothing to sneeze at right now. With heroic killing blow, no less. So, oh, that's the reason he did so well. He got a bunch of heroic killing blows on the guys. He was a monster. He was an absolute beast. It was fantastic. So we go to Empire turn 4, and I play the fleeing game again because there's just nothing else I can do. So his halberdiers charged my men-at-arms. They would have been in the flank. They fled right through the knights errant, which is fine. Yeah, so there's all that going on the right-hand side. I don't think his infantry units charged my knights errant. If they did, he failed it. I don't know if he did. His handgunners rallied. He did decide to take the handgunners into my general's unit. So there's a close-up on the right. Here on the left, he could have got his general into combat if he had wanted to, but he didn't want to. Because if he had, my general would have ripped into him. So it looks like that. Then we go to the magic phase. He gets like Fa's protection off and goes with irresistible force. He rolls a 4, and so he gets a big template. Does not get sucked into the void, which was a real bummer. I was hoping he would. Just kills a bunch of his halberdiers, which is really impactful because my concern is how long is he going to be steadfast with that good leadership right there. Now that big template also hit all of my characters, but I passed my lookout sir roll on all of them, And then I actually made some ward saves, and so I lost some knights, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. It also hit his Reichsguard champion, and he rolled a 1 to wound, so couldn't even get that. Overall, I can't complain too much about it. It was nice getting those halberdiers off the table. He shoots and kills more knights errant, and he shoots and kills more knights errant. And at the end of combat, it looks like that. Basically, he has a hard time punching through my armor. I killed a bunch of his guys, especially with my general, but not enough. He's steadfast. The challenge is still a pillow fight because I just can't get rid of, can't kill that guy. And we go to Bretonnia in turn 4. So I thought I actually had a good use for the Knights Errant. They're small enough now. I said, hey, let's charge the cannon. It's not very far, and they fail it. So they are now set up for another counter charge. I'm tired of failing those charges. On the right, the men-at-arms do not rally and run off the board. And over here, the magic phase, this time I roll a little bit better, and I get the beefed up version of the Savage Beast of Horus off. So now, I have 3 characters in the front rank who all have +3 attacks, +3 strength. And this picture you're looking at is after combat. So the Green Knight model easily killed the champion. So I reformed afterward, put him up in the second rank, moved the Battle Standard Bearer up, and so on his next turn, we're going to be having 3 characters on the front rank with 9 extra attacks, really high strength, and very soon he is not going to be steadfast anymore. So we'll go to Empire turn 5. His great swords charge my Knights Errant. I flee. He redirects into my men-at-arms. He also charges swordsmen to my men-at-arms. He fails with both. I was very, very pleased about that result. Now we're running low on time now, so we both know that we're going to get his turn and my turn, and we're going to have to end at the end of the 5th turn, because there's just, no time. So he shoots at me and kills a bunch of men-at-arms. And we go to combat. Predictably, I absolutely whoop up on him. Just did a ton of wounds. He was no longer steadfast, broke him, and I wasn't able to catch him. But it's not really the end of the world because this is his turn, and so my turn's coming up, and I can charge, which is what I do. So again, this is the last turn of the game, so the Knights Errant do not rally, but they don't run off the board either, so they're good. My men-at-arms charge a swordsman. My general's unit charges his general's unit. They flee through the Hellblaster and don't get off the board. I don't catch them. So I go ahead and charge a Hellblaster. I'm almost certain I'm going to kill that very, very easily. Overrun, and I shoot his general's unit, which will net me the warrior priest, the general, and all those halberdiers. So very, very happy about that. Sorry about the blurry picture, but this is the charge. It's last turn of the game. I'm thinking I'm gonna risk turning to a mountain chimera and see how that goes. And then I make one of the more stupid mistakes I've made. I turn into a mountain chimera, and then we realize that the Battle Standard Bearer is on the corner touching her. So the BSB issues a challenge, and I guess she cannot accept because she's a monster, which I didn't think so, but in hindsight I think they were right on that. So instead of just ignoring the challenge, I accept it with the champion, and so the mountain chimera can't fight at all. It's one of the dumbest things I've done in a long time in a Warhammer game. Because the Chimera could have killed the BSB. You never know what would have happened. I think he actually won this combat, but I stuck around, and I didn't get those points. But at this point in the game, 1, I mean, I'm always tired at the end of the game, but 2, I felt that I was really getting shot to death, didn't have tools to do anything, and somehow miraculously the game turned around. So I was actually thrilled that I even won the game. And I think both of us were a little bit shocked that the game swung the way it did, because both of us thought that he had it hands down. So I was mad that I made the mistake, but more on the principle of the matter. Points-wise, it might have bumped me up to a 14-6 instead of a 13-7, but, who cares? So I win 13-7. I'll always take a win. Very happy to get the first in a tournament, especially to get the first game out of the way. And I don't really mind not getting a 20-0 victory, because you don't want to be playing too hard of an opponent, for the rest of the tournament. So anyway, so it's a win on game 1, and game 2 is the next battle report. Hope you enjoyed it.